Hello again and welcome to another edition of Southern Country. Hi, I'm Herb Southern and welcome to the show, my friends. I'm lucky enough to have Eric Heatherly, DreamWorks recording artist. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Herb. How about yourself,
We're not doing bad here. We're having a lot of fun. All right, Ted, I'm going to ask a couple questions for you. Flowers on the Wall was a top 10 hit for you?
Yes.
All right. Describe the pumped-up, retro-sounding remake of the 1965 Statler Brothers hit.
I'll tell you what, Herb, I was playing that song since I was 7 years old. My dad showed it to me on an old acoustic guitar, and he used to give me his records, his old vinyl records. I used to spin them on a turntable at home and learn those songs and slow the speed down of the record so I could learn every little lick. And when I got in high school, I kind of started revving up and hot rodding all those classic country songs into a little bit of a rockabilly sound, you know, a little bit more edgier guitar, and just revamped it. And Mercury Records walked into Tootsie's Orchid Lounge and heard me playing it and offered me a deal.
Wow. That's to be cool, huh?
That was way cool. I've been in Nashville like 8 years trying to get a deal and everything, and I was just doing my thing at Tootsie's.
Tootsie's a pretty famous place.
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
Wonderful.
Why'd you pick this song?
It's just, I do a bunch of songs like that. It just happened that Mercury loved that rendition of that song and wanted to release it. But I do a bunch of revved up old classics, man. Like Live Fast, Love Hard, Die Young by Fair and Young.
Great song. Great
song. But, you know, kids these days, they don't really know those songs, but it's just fun to take them and do something different with them. Okay.
Do you handle remakes rather than originals more?
No, I write.
Do you?
I write 90% of my music. And just every now and then it's fun to kick out one of those that's
classics.
It's from the 50s or 40s or 60s, and just revamp it for fun.
What is meant by the description of pumped up radio sound? A pumped up retro sound, rather.
It's real edgy, vintage guitar tones with a cool backbeat on the drums, and it stems from the Sun Records days to the old Opry days, and it puts country, rock, and rockabilly and R&B all into it. Kind of melts it into one melting pot, and it's just a sound that's hopefully been updated by us, and we're just building on the foundation that the cool cats like Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and Fair and Young and those guys gave us. You know,
they played good music in their day.
Wonderful,
wonderful music. When you do your stage show, do you wear retro outfits?
Well, it just depends. I've got a vast wardrobe. I've got earthy looking things. I've got two-tone retro 50s and 60s looking stuff. I'm big time into surf guitar, so I love all that California colors and two-tone stuff. I'm way into that. And I go to thrift stores a lot, and I find stuff like these two-tone boots at places like that, and stuff that people wouldn't find at the mall and stuff like that, you know.
And you outfit your band the same way?
Yeah, sure do.
You have a pretty good collection of retro clothes?
Oh, I've got tons of it. And you know what? In the early 90s, when it wasn't hip or anything, and it was kind of still out of style, I could rack up, I could dress me and the whole band for $20.
Not
just
bad,
go to Salvation Army, Goodwill, and just find great, perfect vintage bowling shirts and two-tone shoes, and it was a good find.
Is that what we see on the stage today?
You'll see some of that, yeah.
Okay.
We got a little bit of record company money now, so we're a little bit slicked up now, you know.
What else is on that album? What else on the album with Flowers on the Wall, Champaign?
You got the Wrong 5 O'Clock, which is something I wrote over in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Over on Bill Street after a really, really late night, and it's a Roadhouse romping song, and we'll be kicking that out today.
Okay.
And
what else is on that album?
We got all kinds of stuff on there. There's
a
lot of guitar work
ballad
on it.
Ones?
Yeah, we got something on there called One Night. It's a very piano-based ballad that's just a real heart-wrenching lyric.
You wrote it?
Took me 6 months to write that song.
Wow. A lot of emotion in it?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of emotion. Personal experience?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Everything I write has something personal in it, and I try to use my life experiences as a springboard.
Draw from your life.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's you know, a real life thing for me.
How did it feel to hear Flowers on the Wall for the first time on the radio?
It just about made me run into a guardrail in Nashville. You know, after waiting 10 years in that town and banging on every frickin' door there was, and wondering if I was ever going to get played, and finally hearing it, I literally almost ran off the road.
No kidding. You know, you didn't expect to hear it on the radio, huh?
No, man, it was so cool.
You were in Nashville driving along, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You cranked that radio up when you heard it?
Oh, I just blew my speakers totally out, man. My dad's just retired. He's been driving an 18-wheeler for 30 years, and first time he heard it, he called me on his cell phone. He held it up to his speakers in his 18-wheeler, and he was just practically crying.
But that had to be some feeling, huh?
It just blew me away.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Why don't we show Flowers on the Wall? Say something unusual about the taping of that video that the people never know. If you
oh man, there's a lot of unusual things about that video. We filmed it out at a warehouse in Los Angeles, and there was like a fence around the warehouse with all this barbed wire around it, and it was just a real seedy, edgy part of town, which really brought in a real psychedelic feel for this song, because it was, you know, written in 1965 by Lou DeWitt from the Stattlers, and it just really evoked a real earthy feel.
Is your music unique to the industry? Do you think that's unique to the industry, what you're doing today?
Well, I hope so. You know, everything I do, I try to just keep it as real and genuine as I can. And early on in my career, when I first moved to Nashville, I was asked to change.
Yes, I read that.
A lot of my looks and a lot of my sound, and I was even told to put down my electric guitar and put on a hat and so forth. And you know what? I was born and bred in Tennessee, and I'm as hillbilly as it gets from my roots, and I'm a guitar slinger at heart, so I wasn't going to just dress up as a novelty and try to pretend to be a rancher when I'm not, you know. So I just try to stick to my roots and put it out there.
Is this what makes your album different from the other albums being produced on Music Row today?
That, and the fact that I used my band, you know, and I used most of all my songs, and like I say, just trying to take what we did all those years on the road and all the juke joints and clubs and bringing it to the masses in a mainstream capacity, you know.
From the time you from the time DreamWorks found you to the time you got to the recording studio, what was the window of time? How long was that?
For me, on DreamWorks...
Well, you were MCA, right?
I was on Mercury.
Mercury, rather.
It took me about a year and a half to get in the studio on Mercury. And then with DreamWorks, I was in the studio in 3 or 4 months after signing.
Right.
James Stroud is such a class act, Herb. And he signs acts.
Big name in Nashville.
He signs acts that he's passionate about. They get behind him, and they don't play games.
Now, it's the man you want to meet.
That's right.
Met the right guy this time.
That's right.
How long were you in Nashville before your record deal? 10 years?
I was actually there in '90 at 19 years old, and it took me to the age of 30 to get that CD out.
That's so. What did you do during that period of time?
I parked cars at the Hermitage Hotel downtown. I played at Tootsie's for tips, 5 sets a night.
Wow.
And I also landscaped on the weekends and painted apartments and duplexes. Anything I could, man, to
just survive, huh?
Just to survive. A lot of Captain Crunch, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I read that your songs are rockabilly-tinged bar anthems. Is that you played on the other side of Nashville honky-tonks that don't allow oversized cowboy hats and big buckles? That's where you come from? That's true, huh?
That's probably stemming from my days at Jack's Guitar Bar.
Okay.
It's like kind of like a biker bar that was down on the lower end of Nolensville Road there in Nashville area. It was like a cinder block joint with gravel parking lot where guys wanted to come up and hear some flaming guitar. And so I'd play one week, Keith Urban would play the next, and we would just keep rotating. And that was a lot of fun those days, man. That was the early '90s in Nashville.
You have some influences like Stevie Ray Vaughan and early Dwight Yoakam and a little bit of Lynyrd Skynyrd in your music. Is that true?
Absolutely. Those guys really portrayed kind of what I wanted to do with my artistry, and that's a little bit of rebellion, it's a little bit of edge, and I think those types of artists put out music that'll be around a long time after they're gone, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to follow.
Let's talk about Swimming in Champaign, written in the summer of '95, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah.
Where did you get the idea from?
I got that idea out in Santa Monica, California, and I was actually out there with my drummer Richard Carpenter, and we were soaking up all the California vibe, man, and it was like the first time I'd ever been out there from Tennessee, and just really experiencing Hollywood, and I just felt this real cool beachy vibe, you know, and I wanted to try to bring some Roy Orbison stuff into my music, and Swimming in Champaign it was an idea that was just a gift from God, I guess, and my drummer and I wrote it, and it's one of my favorite songs.
How long did it take you to write that song?
About 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months, so you
Yeah.
put it together. We're going to show that video now, but before I'm going to ask you that same question. Tell them something that they won't know unless you tell them
Oh
about
man,
that
the
video.
Swimming in Champaign video, that's my wife Heather in there. And we froze our tails off, man, filming this video because we stayed wet in it most of the whole day. And there were some synchronized swimmers in there that were so beautiful, and they just really did a great job in the video. Yeah.
Who was it? I read in the article your wife was being attacked in a motel room. Wasn't that you?
Yeah. She was being attacked by me, all right.
I read that in one of the articles.
We got rained on.
Yeah. That's like a little mini movie you made there for that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a real high-end budget on that video, and I really think it's a nice piece of work. I really enjoyed it.
You're a songwriter. When you write a song, you target a certain audience or age bracket when you write that song?
No, I don't.
No.
I just write from the heart, and whatever happens, happens, you know.
Do the songs on your album follow a storyline, or they have a common thread, or they just what you feel to write at the time, what put on there at the time?
It depends on the idea.
Okay.
And it depends on the mood and the groove of the song. Sometimes a song just needs a cool backbeat and a cool guitar riff, and just make people feel good and relax. Other songs need to have a really deep, in-depth storyline and a temperament about it that needs to relate to people, you know, something that they can relate to. So it just depends on the mood that I'm in and what I feel like people need.
What's the most recognized element in your music?
What's that now?
What's the most recognized element in your music?
Probably the guitar
riffs. Yeah, because you're a guitarist.
Yeah, and it's kind of the way I was born and bred. I was just brought up around my dad playing guitar around the house. And
how old were you when you got a guitar?
I was 5 years old.
How old were you when you wrote your first song?
8.
Did that song included on your CD now?
No, it's a bunch of garbage, but I actually remembered. It was called The Rambler.
Yeah? How long did it take you to write that song?
About 5 minutes.
5?
I didn't finish it.
Never finished it, huh? Influences in the industry today, at home. In the industry and at home. Who are your influences? Just Lynyrd Skynyrd, Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is a huge influence. Dwayne Eddy.
Dwayne Eddy's great.
Dwayne Eddy's a
great guitar man.
Great guitar man.
Yeah.
Link Ray, Dick Dale.
Okay.
The Ventures.
Oh, they're great.
They're wonderful.
Wonderful group.
Just anybody really that plays guitar. Pete Anderson that played with Dwight Yoakam's a great influence.
Do you pay tribute to them in your show?
I try to through my playing.
Through your playing, okay.
Yeah.
What song in your show gets the audience howling the most?
It's definitely Flowers on the Wall, because it's the most recognizable. It was a top 5 hit, #1 video, and it's the most one that they've heard, you know.
You didn't model yourself after anybody. You're just Eric Heatherly, the man that I'm sitting next to right now.
Actually, Herb, I pretty much modeled myself after my dad.
Did you?
Yeah, he had pork chop sideburns growing up, slicked his black hair back, and shined his shoes, and I just wanted to be like him.
Okay. Was he in the music industry?
No. He grew up really poor and never had a chance to chase the dream like I did. So I'm really grateful and lucky.
Have you handled success very well so far?
I think I've been pretty decent with it. It's a roller coaster ride, a lot of ups and downs, and I try to cope with the industry. Sometimes the business part of it gets me down, but
a lot of pressures.
Tons of pressure. But you know, it's the best job in the world.
How has it changed your life personally and professionally?
Well, it's a dream that's been realized. You know, it's all I've ever wanted to do since I was 5 years old. So, you know, you can't complain when you're out here doing your dreams.
Doing your dreams. You're right.
No matter how hard it is. I mean, we were on 4 airplanes in one day last week. We went 28,000 miles in 6 weeks.
Wow. You were on the road.
Killing the road, but
love every minute.
You know what? You ask for it.
Yeah.
In anything you do. I mean, if you're a plumber, you know.
Yeah. You get jobs.
You got to unclog toilets.
That's it.
You know. There's a lot of things you do that you don't like to do, but it's just part of it.
Have you been recognized on the street yet? Walking down the street?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
It's wonderful.
Is it?
It's great. I love hanging out with people. I'm a real extroverted kind of socialite. So
have you played the Opry yet?
I've played the Opry twice.
How'd that feel to play the Opry?
It was a blast, man. It was very spiritual.
The Mother Church.
It was the best.
The best. Your expertise on a guitar has got you a couple endorsements.
Yeah.
From different guitar companies.
Yeah, I had a deal going with Fender for a while, and Gibson Guitars is working with me now, and Taylor and Takamine, and he licks her strings. Just a lot of wonderful people that really love musicianship, and that's really encouraging to me that they seek out guys that are real musicians.
How'd these companies find you before the record deal?
They would just happen up at shows. You know,
wow.
The buzz happens in Nashville, and when you get a pretty big following going, kind of the rage hits the town, and everybody just kind of explodes onto the scene. And so, you know, I played there for so many years, and just about everybody got an opportunity to see us live.
Your first stage debut was at 13? Playing John Anderson?
It was about 13 years old, 7th grade talent show. I played Just a Swangin'.
That's a Swangin', that's it. That was a great song.
That was a great
1983, song. John Anderson music.
Even though I about got laughed off the stage.
Did you?
Yeah, country was not cool then.
No, it wasn't hip, huh?
Country was not cool then.
Yeah. Hey, you turned down touring with Shania Twain?
Yeah, that was rough, Herb.
That was a heck of a decision you made there.
That was tough.
Yeah.
She asked me to do the 97 CMA award show with her, and
right.
I backed her up on that, and then I got offered the subsequent 18-month world tour, and I really wanted to do it. But 2 weeks after that offer, I got my own record deal offer, and I tell you, Herb, I'd waited already 8 years to get my music out there, so I stayed focused on it.
Well, two dreams really came true at the Tootsie's. You met your wife there.
Sure did.
Yeah.
She was
and
behind
Mercury
the bar.
met you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened to me in that place.
And yeah, Tootsie's is quite a place. Been around for years, huh?
Oh, forever. Like early 60s.
Well, what place was there before when how Hank and them all played? What am I thinking of? Am I thinking of Tootsie's?
You're probably thinking of Ernest Tubbs' record shop.
Behind the old Ryman. What was?
That's got to be Tootsie's.
Tootsie's, yeah.
It's the purple building. Tootsie's Orchid Lounge.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Hank hung around there years ago.
Absolutely. Farron Young, Webb Pierce, Roy
Acuff. Snuck
out
out the back door, didn't they?
Snuck out the back door, got some drinks, got lit, and could barely get through their show. You know.
Yeah, that's it. That's the stories I heard.
That's it.
That's the place, huh? All right. All right. Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up this show with Last Man Committed.
Great.
Say something about it, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
The Last Man Committed is a real heartfelt ballad that I wrote over in Memphis as well. I recorded it at a place called the House of Blues Studio over there, and I went over to Al Green's church one Sunday before I went to the studio and really got real spiritual and vibey, and I just absorbed a lot of his R&B roots, and that's what I tried to get on tape, was a real earthy R&B country feel.
And you did a good job with it.
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you for being on the show, Eric.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate being on Southern Country.